China isn't bothered by Trump's tariffs because they outplayed his ass like a damn fiddle. While Trump was busy slapping tariffs on Chinese goods like a drunk uncle flipping monopoly boards, China just calmly shifted gears, found new markets, boosted domestic production, and let the U.S. shoot itself in the economic foot. They looked at Trump's little trade tantrum and basically said, "Cool story, bro. We'll sell our shade sheet to literally anyone else."
Has the president left himself any room to maneuver when it comes to the China issue? You've highlighted the change around the narratives before the 90-day pause from the initial claim that, this was always the plan, as we heard from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, to Trump directly referencing market volatility just a day later and even saying, he saw Jamie Dimon talking about this on TV. But it's more complicated with China because if China doesn't back down, do you think the president and the White House can figure out a way to make a deal that the U.S. would have to start capitulating on, or is that just off the table for this president?
I mean, one of the things that we've come to know about Donald Trump is that he's always trying to look for a deal and is able to spin it in the favor that he wants to. And he will find a willing audience in the Republican Party in Washington and throughout the country, often willing to fall in line and support whatever sort of messaging tactic he decides to do. We saw that with some of the Republican critics of his trade policy so far, very quickly falling in line and saying that it was brilliant maneuvering and, quoting from his book, The Art of the Deal.
Trump thought he was being a badass. China thought it was comedy hour. He strutted around yelling tariffs are good and easy to win like some bargain bin dictator. While U.S. farmers, manufacturers, and consumers got bent over by price hikes, supply chain chaos, and lost markets. Meanwhile, China just shrugged and kept cashing in, especially from countries Trump pissed off or ignored. They didn't cry, they didn't collapse, they just watched America punch itself in the dick.
After threatening to impose tariffs on countries all around the world, U.S. President Donald Trump has made it clear that there's really one country that is the main target of the very aggressive economic war that he's waging, and that country is China. The U.S. government is obsessed with trying to weaken and contain China because they see China as the only country powerful enough to challenge the global dominance of the United States.
And soybeans? Oh, sweet Jesus. Trump promised he'd make China buy more U.S. crops, but guess what? China said nah and started sucking up Brazil's soybeans like a damn smoothie. American farmers were left with silos full of unsold crops and a bunch of fucking patriotic platitudes. Hope that flag-wrapped bankruptcy paperwork kept them warm. Bottom line, China isn't scared. They're laughing.
A Bloomberg opinion columnist believes that, to that point, China won't back down first because President Xi Jinping can withstand more economic and more political pain than his U.S. counterpart. She joins us right now to talk us through the thesis there. Karishma, you don't think China blinks first. Why not?
Well, David, I think the main reason is because Xi Jinping is in a much more politically powerful position than Donald Trump.
They didn't lose the trade war. They barely showed up to it. While Trump was busy blowing hot air and slapping tariffs like he was swatting flies, China was building infrastructure, tightening alliances, and watching MAGA implode under its own dumbass economic moves. So no, China ain't bothered, not by Trump, not by his tariffs, not by his tantrums. They've got 1.4 billion people, global partnerships, and a game plan. Meanwhile, Trump was too busy tweeting like a drunk rooster and pretending he understood trade. So the clown show continues. You want to hear more? Please like and subscribe.